hello everyone, and welcome to another One Piece manga chapter read along, this time for chapter 1187. But before I get to the new chapter read along, I want to just go through some of the comments from last time on the last video. I need to remember to do that in each new video. I want to take a look at the comments from the last week, and then I just want to recap the end of chapter 1186 so that we have a good segue. And the last week I was really disappointed. Something was wrong with the algorithm on X or something, because every time I go there and I read the most interesting theories, but last week I went there and it was just a bunch of like trash thirst posts. Like, I searched the same thing that I always do and I didn't get any theories. I mainly got a bunch of just bad posts. So I'm hoping that this week, whatever was wrong last week was fixed. Because I really like reading even the most crazy theories. Okay, but shout out to those who commented last time. Straw Hat Uzumaki, who enjoys the read-alongs, and Game Killer said, I kind of love how you noticed Emu after the chapter. He was only in 2 panels, to be fair. Considering that it's Brook's flashback is quite telling, his tunnel vision in that moment, like, it showed how he had tunnel vision because he didn't even mention the Itsumade or the little blob. But I think it was very well done, the way that it was designed with like a hypnotic effect. That's why he didn't see past, the king died and the Shuri, right? Princess Shuri and her new form. Upvote comment said, theory, Princess Shuri body will be recovered. Imu would possess it back and use her to capture Luffy, and this will lead into a bigger conflict and would start a blame game between the Straw Hat Pirates. So we did read that. I feel like I've read that in some discussion somewhere, but it sounds very unlikely to me. I can't imagine right now a blame game between the Straw Hats at all. My theory regarding Shuri is that she will sacrifice herself to save Brook. Then someone unknown V9LW said hard luck for South Africa because we lost the game against, I don't remember who, but honestly, we were just happy to make it into the 2026 FIFA World Cup because the last time we were in it was in 2010, and the only reason we got in was because we were hosting. So the fact that we got in, like, that was enough for me. So, but good luck to everyone else. And then, yeah, Hunter said hello, hello, hello. And in the live chat, we have Modru, Walid, Stani, Rohit is here, Dark Shadow, Tiago has joined us. I think Tiago... Rohit says, I think Brook will be able to save her in the final arc, and he has to fight Shuri's father. No! Don't say that! And Odinoko is also here, and if I didn't give you a shout out, I still really appreciate your presence. And if you're listening back to this later, I hope you will enjoy. So let's just quickly see how the chapter ended last time. We had Loki that was going at Imu, and Imu said, the nature of a race does not change in mere centuries. Simply abduct thy children, and I can control thee at will. Thou might not know what is happening to thee, but history repeats regardless. It's already too late. Thou art my slaves. And then as Loki wanted to land a blow, Luffy comes zooming through saying, you get out of Elbaf right now, and punches him right in the face. And we did hear about some people on X and other places that said they don't like it that Luffy is able to do this, but it has been well established that, I mean, the Gorosei begged him not to go because he's already so weak or something, and he was like coughing up blood when he arrived. So I mean, I don't know why people are so unhappy. I have noticed recently though, people put some villains on a pedestal, and like Frieza, and there's another one that we recently talked about, the now Emu. It's like they want them to be stronger than they are because they've created this idea of them and they've put them on a pedestal. But I think I did talk about this last week, and I said, even if they pretend to be gods, even if they seem so strong to some that they appear as gods, they are not. At the end of the day, these are not necessarily people. I can't call Frieza people, but there are mortals who have tried to ascend themselves. But why are you surprised when they fail? Frieza was always a daddy's boy who didn't train a day in his life. And we don't know much about Emu, but the whole purpose of One Piece is, well, one of the biggest themes is like corruption, which clearly he has done a lot of in order to gain this level of power, and the people fighting back, which Luffy represents. So I don't know why people expect. He already has this insane design. He's like, we haven't even seen half of what Emu has done. I don't know why people take such a big issue when they're momentarily put in their place. Especially when it's already been established that he's not at his peak, at the very least, right? Luffy is an emperor. People need to stop acting like he's the underdog now. That has stopped happening when he defeated Kaido. Okay, so here we go, chapter 1187. Let's begin. The cover story is Reiju scolding naughty swans and protecting the ugly duckling. And the ugly duckling is clearly Sanji. And the other swans is Sanji's dad and the brothers. Ooh. The title is called The Root of the Problem. And that reminds me, very quickly, I want to try and say something that I will expand on hopefully in a month or two. I need to write down some thoughts first, but I want to emphasize this title just because the title reminded me, the root of the problem. I want to remind you that One Piece is a grand freaking adventure. It is fun and entertaining, but personally, I believe Oda is sharing a very important real world message that I hope will reach people in the months to come, in the next few years to come. It was already important in this forever, but I feel like more and more people are realizing, hopefully, that a lot of what Oda has shown us through various arcs and characters, it's not as fictional as we would hope. Just remember that is all I'll say for now, but later I'll talk a little bit more in depth about my thoughts on that. But I just think that things like the Void history and Robin's Island being, those people were, what's the word? Dr. Clover Hakase and the others, and specifically Robin, they demonized a child so that the truth of the void to history is not explored. I just want to say, take note. Okay. And the Gorosei and the Emu, take note. So the chapter opens up with Loki looking shocked. We have Emu destroyed. His beautiful visage, because let's not, I'm not gonna lie about it, he looks amazing, but not at the moment. And then Luffy just absolutely has lost his patience and he's done. He's sending this guy back home now. So, but Emu is not affected for very long. He does his little hand thingamabobs. Boom. And the two flames seem born, like given form, with mischievous faces. Emu explodes somewhere in the background, or he hits the ground. That was a pretty good shot, I'll admit. But it only happened because of all the damage I put on him first. Hey, you're really hurt. Step back and rest a bit. Rest? Who do you think you're talking to? And don't forget, not too long ago, wasn't Loki stabbed in the abdomen by what's his face's three-headed sword? That happened. I mean, I don't think he's fully recovered from that. Rest? Who do you think you're talking to? Whoa. The little flame thing has attached itself, not attached, but he's hovering around Luffy and Loki. Little punk. Yow, ow, ow, ow. It's hot. I mean, it stings. What is this black fire? Whoa, he looks way scary up close. Who says that? Who says he looks scary up close? And he does this. And it looks like a little black fire bell. We're supposed to go to his chest, where the sword was stuck, yeah? Damn it. These flames keep spreading. Blade of hatred. Stigma. And then I was literally just talking about where the blades went in, and now the fire seems to specifically target. Uh-oh. Oh my god, that looks severely worse than the three-headed dogs. What's going on with this thing? Oh shit. So you're telling me he just got stabbed through the chest with a giant black fire sword, and now we're moving on to another part. Okay. What's going on with this thing? It won't even budge. Nothing works. Is that not ice? What if it's actually a diamond or something? Well, then first of all, we need Zoro. But of course, Nami is like, diamond? But if it's anything but ice, then the woman inside has definitely suffocated. Oops. What just happened? Did it crack? If I touch it, it feels cold. Or at least I imagine it would. You can't tell? Wait, he's got a point. If I touch it, yeah, no, I can't tell either. Enough of the non-humans. Yes, it's cold. Look out behind you. So Brooke and Frankie, the they don't maybe have the same kind of hands that the rest of us do. They're like, yeah, no, I can't tell if it's cold or not. But then Loki is shot back into the block of diamond ice. Loki? What? Look out! His hammer's coming down! Oh, so the hammer knocks the thing and it makes like a, I don't know, that looks like a hollow type of, or no, wait, is it the, oh, that's the movement, maybe it's spinning? Goody. Huh? Did he just go down? He got stabbed through the chest. Oh. Look, everyone! The ice has suddenly begun to melt. Princess Shuri. So, the hammer knocked the ice, and now it has started to melt. And they could do nothing to it before. The ice has suddenly begun to melt. Okay. So then we're back with Luffy. Oh, so I'm glad that we didn't just end the one scene there and then switch scenes. The scenes were actually going to intersect. So then we have Emu doing the same thing again, like this, and he looks through it, and there's a little bell thing. A bell fire thing. It looks like a shing. And Luffy grabs it. And, oh, he chucks the jacket. So it was attached to the jacket, which Luffy then threw. Just in time, because Emu shoots and probably misses. Doom da da da, doom da da da. There's some kind of music playing in the background. It's locked in through the spirit fire. I mean, okay, wait, I'm gonna not look at the chat until the end. Oh, yeah, like you mean that part. Obviously. But it's a little bell. That's the weird part. Like it could have just been fire locked into fire, but it's a little bell. That's what I find weird. To me it looks like a little bell. The bottom, like if you dangle it. So obviously it's locked onto the fire and it shoots, but that's why Luffy throws away the jacket so that it doesn't get him, because it literally just got Loki. And then back at the Western Village. Look at my husband. Sorry, I mean, look at Zoro. Western Village, Sea Cloud Port. Team Zoro. What are you doing here? You're one of the 3 demons. Straw Hat Crew. You were in the village earlier. What do you want? You're gonna get hurt. You're the ones who ruined a feast between good old friends. So, forget about it. It's just 10 or 20 kids, that's all. My companion will be retrieving the brats in no time, and we'll be out of your hair, no fuss. Uh-huh, fancy that. My companion just went to my companion. I will mess you up. How dare you? Put husband and Sommers in the same line. I love how Zoro says, fancy that. My companion just went toward the village. So my guess is that yours ain't coming back. Ooh, the faith they have in each other. Oh, he looks so good. Why he looks so good? Can you freaking zoom in, please? Zoom. Oh, it's struggling to zoom because I can do this, like this, but I want to zoom in, and then it doesn't zoom in on, like, only like. Did you see my news, or did you see my? I got this in Japan, and I wanted to frame it, but the lady never got back to me, and I got sick and tired of waiting, so I just hung it. But look. Isn't he cool? And look at him, he's here also. Here. This is Zoro, gifted to me by Cherry. And this is Zoro poster from Japan. But yeah, the paneling is so good. Oh, wow, that's how it... sorry, I was so focused on Zoro. So Sommers is like here, and the Zoro is talking down on him from up there. The paneling is good. So, anyway, Zoro says, fancy that. My companion just went toward the village, so my guess is that yours ain't coming back. Yeah? Mind if I ask why? Because he'll be dead. Gihahaha. Do you have any idea how on top of our game we are? And then he attacks. But Zoro dodges. You know, I've never really been one who cared much about fights. They were always cool to see, but it's not something that I look forward to most. Dragon Ball definitely changed that to some extent, but not gonna lie. If there's any fight I'm looking forward to, it's any fight that contains Zoro. Wait, I want to show you. Yeah, me too. Okay. Then, over the western village, the rain was pouring down, as though the sky itself had cracked in half. Let's cover the facts. Problem number 1. A monster bigger than the giants is taking the children away. Response. Unfortunately, I won't be saving the kids. Problem number 2. Wait, what? Problem number 1. A monster bigger than the giants is taking the children away. Response. Unfortunately, I won't be saving the kids. Problem 2. Their wailing mothers are an unbearable sight. Response. Unfortunately, the monster is a woman. I can't kick her. Added note. The giant warriors refuse to give up on taking back their children. And then you have Ripley screaming, Colin. Mommy, I'm sorry I got caught. Problem number 3. Problem number 3. I don't want to see a woman's tears, but I won't take part in that fight because you're the root of the problem. Smart. The giants might lose sight of you, but you can't escape from me. You're tougher than you look. I'm putting a stop to all of this. See, one of my major issues with the Enies lobby thing was that even if he couldn't fight Khalifa, I never had a problem with that, but I felt like he wasted time. I understand that it was mostly comedy, but I still didn't like how it translated, especially when it contrasted with scenes like Robin biting onto stone in order to save just seconds of time so that her friends can reach her. So I didn't care that he couldn't fight Khalifa, but what I cared about was being smart about it. If you can't fight it, what can you do? So in this case, it's smart. Okay, you can't fight the monster because it appears like a woman. But at the very least, he is getting to the root of the problem. The giants might lose sight of you, but you can't escape from me. You're tougher than you look. I'm putting a stop to all of this. You fool. There's an entire world of a difference between toughness and immortality. And that is why you cannot beat me. Even if getting rid of me means that my powers will vanish, I suppose. So go on, try. Can you eliminate the god of rain? Onward, my blustery deity. Deity. I like that word. Deity. Take those brats away. Ooh, very scary. Well, I know what you people are weak against. Ha ha ha. What an amusing thing to say. So, are you claiming you can use the color of the Supreme King? Ooh, Sanji fans are wetting their pants right now. They are screaming. They are. No, I'm joking. Are you claiming? Well, he is a prince, technically. Are you claiming you can use the color of the Supreme King? Go on and kill me if you can. How do you expect to support your captain, an emperor of the sea? When was this? Sorry. Hey, Gramps, what about me? Can I use Supreme King Haki? You should have the potential for it. Really? However, in your case, for some reason, you possess a streak of masochistic instability. You must be a king, too. A king. If you truly want to make Luffy the king of the pirates. What is a masochistic streak? Like he is it because he never believed himself to be worthy because of his brothers? Like they always told him, he's not good enough, and they locked him up, and like he was a failure. So maybe emotionally he has to believe himself worthy. Oh yeah, mental block. That makes sense. So Davy D. Gott says it's a weird translation. Basically, he's saying he has a mental block. But that was, even with the translation, it's clear. He means mentally you have to believe yourself worthy. You have to, yeah. So he's saying you have to overcome that block if you truly want to make Luffy the king of the pirates. And then it switches. Whoa. King of the world, Saint Nerona Emu versus Emperor of the Sea, Monkey D. Luffy. There thou art, Joy Boy. Quit calling me all these different names. I'm Luffy, the man who will be the king of the pirates. Whoa. Sanji fans. Eating good. Sanji downplayed himself in his dream against Kuma when he tried to save Luffy and Zoro. When? Very cool final panel. What was this about? When was this? Which chapter or where was this? Like, I remember this scene, but can you tell me which chapter was this? Can I reread it? Because I don't remember this part. Yeah, when he was introduced and they were talking to him and blah blah blah. But can I reread it? Because I don't actually understand Zoro's face there. It looks like he almost looks sorry. And I want to just read the scene. He needs the upscale. I expected it because he does. Remember, they were the monster trio, and now, I mean, Jinbei. And it's like he kind of, yeah, he needed the upscale. I think so also. Chapter 1152, okay. Thank you. 1152. Okay, so 1152 was a horrible day. Loki is talking to Hairujin. And Gaban says, seems like there's more than one of you with Supreme Haki. Supreme King Haki. And that's when Sanji says, who? Me? Yeah, I had a feeling. I'm tired of Mosshead and Jinbei stealing all of my glory. See, literally. They were the monster trio, and once Jinbei joined around that time, he just kind of kept falling a little bit behind. You there, swordsman. I love how he kind of just ignores him in that moment. Like, no, 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 no. You there, swordsman. You seem quite at ease with it. Wait, I can use Supreme King Haki? What? You didn't know that? It's flowing out of you. Unbelievable. Haki is a power that's only useful when you consciously control it. How do you expect to support your captain, an emperor of the sea, without knowing that? Oh, that's why he said, sorry, like, ugh. People thought that this was a gag. Wait, they didn't believe that he has? They didn't believe it? What's your problem with Jinbei? I said they were the monster trio. But since Jinbei joined, it didn't really seem like it was the monster trio anymore. It seemed like Sanji had been kind of falling behind, so I couldn't personally say that with confidence. But what is your problem? Why you seem like so defensive? It's Luffy and his wings. Period. It seems like you're kind of threatened there by Jinbei's strengths, or what's the problem? Oda wrote Sanji so well that if he awakens Conqueror's Haki, it would feel like a natural progression of his character. Well, he did get 2 whole fucking arcs to himself. He had the backstory with, like, if he didn't, it would be very disappointing. He had the Barati arc where he was introduced, and then he had the whole freaking whole cake that was about him. Like, he was central to that. He has the whole history with his dad and everything. If he didn't at some point, if this didn't happen, it would be, it's not a natural progression more so than it is fucking about time. Like, you had this much time. But yeah, he has held himself back for a very good reason. We see his childhood. But it's about fucking time that he overcomes his mental block, to put it lightly. So that's when Sanji asks, hey Gramps, what about me? But we don't see if he said anything. Oh, wow. Okay, so in the chapter, Gaban says, seems like there's more than one of you with Supreme King Haki. The gag is that Sanji was like, is it me? It's me, isn't it? But then he was referring to Zoro. But then he said, Gramps, what about me? And then we don't hear what Gaban responds because Loki shouts. But there is a very clear moment when you see Sanji's reaction to something. So clearly, this is what he said. It was revealed in the new chapter. And what he said was, hey Gramps, what about me? Can I use Supreme King Haki? You should have the potential. Like, he's saying, it seems likely you should be able to, but for some reason, you possess a streak of masochistic instability. So, like, hurting yourself, holding yourself back, because mentally, he's not a king. He doesn't have self-belief. If you truly want to make Luffy the king of the pirates, so he has to overcome. Okay. Anyway, yeah, let's start with Discord. Oh, there's actually some stuff I wanted to react to from before. So let's take a quick moment to pause. There's some SBSs. And I started reading some SBSs a long time ago, but then I stopped because I don't know why. But there's a lot that came out. So here we go. SBS Thread Volume 115, the volume in Japan is out. So, first SBS question. Whose panties is Shanks peeking at in his wanted poster? He's not looking at any. Go get beaten up by Shanks fans. Typical. Reader. Odachi, you can rest easy now. I sprayed some Sanada repellent spray. Sanada won't be showing up anymore. Whoa, they actually sell something like that? Thanks, it really helps. Sanada. Quiz time. What is Nami's special technique? Booba press, booba slap, booba beam. It's a tough choice, but I'd definitely be happiest with the booba press. Wait, that's not it, Sanada. Hey, Oman Matu. That spray is not working. Quick, spray more. Psst, psst. Look, he multiplied. Sanada multiplied. Oh, I love Oda so much. He's hilarious. I wish I could have, like, I don't know. I just want to, like, make shit up like that. I need that spray for Sanji fans that can't take a Sanji discussion without putting words in my mouth. If there's a country where the long arm tribe lives, like the Tena Gena kingdom, is there also a kingdom where the long leg tribe lives? Also, I heard there used to be a kingdom on Ruskaina, and I'd love to know its name. Yes, the long leg tribe's country is Ashina Gainon Kingdom. Your legs are long, aren't they? The former kingdom on Ruskaina was the Otankaina Kingdom. Oh, so you were here. That's the country's names, I guess. Or the tribes or something. I think he's joking here, but I also think, like, as far as I remember, long arm people and long leg people, like, that ties into the story somewhere. I always look forward to reading your work. I have a question regarding Gloriosa. Is she modeled after Bridget Bardot? Whoa, you noticed? That's right. If you look her up online, you will see it instantly and totally get it. In the first place, Elder Nyon's features were referenced based on the concept of what happens when a beautiful woman grows old. So she's modeled after the youth and later years of the beautiful French actress. Still beautiful. Honestly, even Nyonba is beautiful. She's just very, very short. You know her, like, personally? Or you just know her from a movie? Is Polo Graham, who appeared in chapter 1165, Marco's father? When you connect their names, I discovered Marco Polo. Yes, there's no hiding it anymore. That's correct. That means Marco's full name is actually Polo Marco. At the time of the God Valley incident, Marco was already born, but he was not a pirate yet. Following the death of Graham, who became Whitebeard's partner from that point onward, Whitebeard took his son, Marco, onto the ship. And Marco eventually grew to become his most trusted right-hand man. Oda-sensei, I have a question. What exactly are the only 5 types of flying ability confirmed in the world that Pell mentioned? There are so many abilities that allow for flight. Now that I'm totally confused. There are so many abilities that allow for flight now, I'm totally confused. Cutting right to the core, are we? A lot has been said about this over the years, but looking at it from my perspective, how on earth is anyone in that world supposed to know every piece of information across the entire globe? Like, who is out there researching exactly how many people in the Tontata tribe can fly? So the official in-universe answer is that was simply the extent of what Pell had heard. So it's very clear, like, about 100 years ago, we thought we knew things that were later proven to be wrong. It's normal. However, this line actually held a different meaning for me personally. It was a line meant to keep myself in check, reminding me you can think up as many flight abilities as you want, but don't overuse them. Culturally and scientifically speaking, technologies have appeared where you'd think, why don't you guys just build an airplane? But it's a worldview that stops just short of developing in that direction. Why? Because this is a pirate manga. To stay true to the theme of the sea and sailing ships, I couldn't let it become a world where everyone is just buzzing around in the air. That was the sentiment behind writing the line. Moving forward, I will maintain the stance that flying is a rare and exceptional thing. But it's like Superman. Can he fly or can he just jump really, really far and high? I'm joking. I'm pretty sure he can fly. It was just a joke from um it was just a joke from Big Bang Theory. Hello, Oda-san. Regarding Shamrock's birthday, since he's trying to make Elbaf suffer a terrible Sun 3 fate, and he seems like he'd like cucumbers. Why? Cutie, Q. How about March 9th? He's Shanks' twin, so March 9th is already set in stone. The cucumbers are irrelevant. I think the reader was making that exact joke. But water is wet again? Wow, this is a long SBS. Odachi, Heso, please give us some detailed information on Rox D. Chebek, like his age, favorite food, and least favorite food. He is 435 centimeters. His age during the God Valley incident was 43. If he were alive today, he would be 81, 7 years older than Whitebeard. His favorite foods are yami nabe, a mystery hot pot, whole roasted lamb, and strong Bacardi rum. His least favorite food is cheese and milk. The voice actor for Joy Boy is Urara Takano, isn't it? Miss Takano is the very first person in the world to ever voice Luffy. That is absolutely right. Usually, when it comes to vital characters, audition audio files are sent to me so I can make the final choice. However, for Joy Boy, I actually made a direct request myself. Miss Urara Takano is the one who voiced Luffy in the special OVA produced for events before the current Toei Animation One Piece even began broadcasting. Sorry. Now I wonder why exactly I said she would be a perfect fit for the role. Since this volume features a special SBS with a new voice actor for Frankie, Subaru Kimura, my section of the SBS ends. See you in the next volume. And then apologies. So he wrote an apology because the volume is a bit longer and is therefore 20 yen more expensive. And I added this story about the most Japanese company, Akagi Nugyo, and their legendary popsicle ad. So they didn't change the price for a very, 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 very long time. And eventually it went 10 yen more expensive and they made like an apology video and like, you can go check this channel, Kyota Ko. He's very popular and he makes very funny videos. Another SBS. I love the children of Elbaf. They're so cute. What are their ages? Is their school an elementary school? You can think of Walrus School as an elementary school. Children around 18 to 36 years old in giant years attend it. For now, I will introduce the ones who got captured. The numbers in parentheses represent their equivalent age in human years. So Colin is age 6, 20 in human years. Ilva is age 7. Scaldi is age 11. Olaf is age 6, Karin 7, Mag 7, 10, Ronja 9, Bent 8, Johanna 9, and Bjorn 11. Then there's Eiichiro Oda's new art and message for volume 115 of One Piece. For this volume, read the first 20 pages just as they are, in the purest form. Then enjoy the next 80 pages lightly, as if sprinkling on a little salt. Starting around page 100, dive in all at once, like dipping everything into rich sauce. Finally, read the UGK and other bonus content lightly, as if pouring a flavorful broth over the meal. If you read it that way from start to finish, it would make me very happy. He's going into his Sanji arc. Interesting. So volume 115 is which chapters? Another SBS. Oda's very unserious. Oda talks about Frankie's penis size in the SBS 115. Reader. Addressed at Frankie's new VA. Subaru Kimura-san. Hello. Is it true your penis measures the same as Frankie's at 8 centimeter? Correct. 8 centimeter wide in girth. Damn. But hold on, I never confirmed Frankie's being 8 centimeters. This is giving me Ippo energy. Cause in one of the last episodes of Hajime no Ippo, Takamura says that if you're in the showers at the gym, you have to hang it all out. And then he takes off Ippo's towel. And he's like, wait, are you shy because it's small? Don't worry about it. Size is not what matters. And then he takes it off and there's like an elephant sound effect or something. And the Ippo is actually bigger than Takamura. I don't think Oda's a pervert. I just think that kind of comedy is very much, from those days, like Ippo. Big D Ippo. Frankie D 8 centimeters. Jeez, Loki's face killed me. It's so funny they couldn't tell because one was all bones and one has a metal arm. This interaction reminded me of pre-time skip humor. Skypia humor is my favorite. Every now and then, it dips back into that humor in the Albuff arc. I have noticed that even in the anime. But yeah, that was my favorite part of One Piece for a while. I love Skypia a lot because of that at the time. Comedy was everything. I think I'm starting to see the real reason that the giants back at Punk Hazard are still in ice. We might need Ragnir to flip on the meltable switch. I think it's pretty clear that Ragnir froze the giants because maybe they wanted to wait for Nika to return. Some people theorizing that Usopp will be worthy and lift the hammer. Yes. I'm not really talking about who froze them. That's easy enough to imagine. I meant the whole reason they're still in the ice is because they need Ragnir to unfreeze it. Well, yeah. Imagine if Usopp uses the hammer. He always said that he used a 100-ton hammer before. Now his lie could become the truth again. Yup. That was one of the things that when I started reacting to One Piece, everyone told me, listen to what Usopp says. His lies always become the truth. And I always felt like you didn't need to say it. But I have a theory that Usopp will eventually wield Loki's hammer in Elbaf, which would be an epic callback to his hammer moments from Arabasta. Including his 100-ton hammer comments from many other times. I know I'm coping. Maybe, please. I think so. I don't think that's a cope. I think it's very likely. I don't know how, but it's Oda and it's Usopp and it's a hammer. Usopp hammer! Usopp hammer! Usopp hammer! Remember? I don't think it's a cope. I don't know how, but remember, the hammer is technically a squirrel. It might be big and heavy, and like it might be able to change its shape and form and size and weight. We don't know. Probably not directly, but with some way around it, such as trying to lift it and then the hammer moves by itself and drags him along with it. That would be very Usopp. Usopp hammer! Usopp hammer! Wagom! That was from Arlong Park. I don't want to even talk about Sanji anymore because I'm afraid that the fans are going to get mad and twist my words. Mr. King instead of Mr. Prince? I see it. Usopp giving his all trying to lift it and barely moving an inch until he suddenly lifts it with zero effort for a few seconds, proud of himself, and then be dragged with it. Someone needs to call Crocodile to let him know Sanji changed his name from Mr. Prince to Mr. King. Zoro fans in shambles. Even Zoro is glazing Sanji now. Aside jokes, this moment is very great. Zoro always fights with Sanji, but they both care and trust each other. If only their fans would get along this well. I've said it 1,000 times. No one trusts each other more than these straw hat fucking pirates. That's why I said at the beginning of the video, I cannot see them playing any kind of blame game unless they're being manipulated mentally some way by a devil fruit or some power. But I don't see them fighting. They trust each other far too much. I unironically think Sanji will fight Crocodile. Meanwhile, Zoro is fighting Mihawk in the future. One of my favorite moments is when Sanji told Zoro to kill him if he is not in the right mind during Wano. Ooh, when was that? Why would he not be in his right mind? Usopp will fight Buggy with Ragnir, and their fight will be legendary. Buggy's crew will glorify its tale for eras to come. Buggy's probably gonna reach Raftal while everyone else is fighting. I'm glad we got the full interaction now. I always thought that it was a gag. It wasn't a gag. Who thought it was a gag? I mean, the gag is just Sanji being a little overexcited, like, haha, me. But then he meant Zoro. But it's still like it was still a funny moment. It's still a gag moment. But the fact that there was a reveal, the fact that he had that shocked face, something was said, you know? I never really thought of it as a gag. But I would need to go back to my read along of that chapter. My theory is that he doesn't want to become king because of his father. That's why he prefers to call himself Mr. Prince. He should accept who he is and help Luffy become the king of the pirates. Personally, I just think that he has a really bad self-esteem because he was always told that he's not good enough. And he just, yeah, it's not so much as becoming a literal king, and I don't think it has anything to do with his father. I think it just has to do with, you know, his brothers and everyone looking down on him. And no matter how, if as a kid everyone tells you every day you're stupid, your brain absorbs that. It believes that. So I just think that it's just a not good enough mentality. I think it would be funny if Sanji's conqueror's Haki can't knock out women because of how strong his willpower is. That seems likely. Finally, they meet. I think Luffy will lose this fight, like the first encounter with Rob Lucci, but he's probably gonna damage Imu heavily before he retreats. I don't know. He's already You know, those polka dots kind of make me think about that one bird from Skypia. But he's heavily damaged before he came here. He's heavily damaged by Loki. I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be a twist. Hmm. If he goes by that name, he will bring nightmares not only to Crocodile, but the entire Cross Guild. He would have PTSD hearing that name again. Crocodile. He inherited that from his ancestor, Vinsmoke Romeo. All hail King of the Simps. If you want Brook to fight Shuri's father, he have to become King of Bones. Why would, wait, where would Shuri's father, like, summon, like a zombie? Like, where would Shuri's father come out of? Oh, I forgot. I was just thinking of the king, the king. Oh, I forgot. You mean biological father. Blech. Biological person who supplied the sperm. Father, the title father is reserved for people who act like one. Okay, let me check. One Piece 1187. I know how to spot a guy who's about to fight the fight of his life when I see one. Oh, someone showed this. Like, I think that's Garp. Like, taking off their jackets. We're actually doing this for real. They've got a whole ass fight intro and everything. Place your bets, folks. It's time. So that's what someone says about, Luffy versus. Like I said, I'm never excited for fights in particular. Not that I won't love to see Zoro, swing his sword or his swords around. But like story-wise, I don't know what's gonna happen here. The fight will not complete. Zoro and Sanji will beat the Holy Knights, which will impact Imu, forcing him to return to Marijoa. Hmm. Very, very little. Like, I literally am searching One Piece 1187. I click the hashtag and everything, and this is mainly what I'm getting. I don't know why people are surprised that when Sanji is not around, Zoro will say good things about him. Like, that is typical guy energy. Shit on each other only, but you're family, you respect each other, of course. What did they think? For me, the funniest thing was always like Sanji, no matter what, Sanji will never disrespect a woman, but his fans have no problem with it. One Piece 1187. I'm officially caught up with One Piece manga today. This pops up, but not any chapter stuff. Sad. Do you guys have any theories to share with me? No, there's this pops up. I think X is broken. I'm done with it now. No, I'm lying. I'll still use it for art. I believe Oda has hinted at 3 arcs who will die for a noble cause. These are Usopp in Dressrosa, Luffy in the first chapter, and Sanji in Shabondi. I believe one of them will die at the end of the story for a noble reason. Oh, for a noble purpose. What do you think? Okay, wait. I'll get to yours in a minute, Modru. Don't forget, I go back. Like, look here. So this is the chat. It doesn't move very fast. Sanji Mahawachi, his message is in the middle, and I'm getting to it now. One time tag is enough. But let me get to that one first. Oda has hinted at 3 Why do you say Oda hinted at the characters that will die? Like, what is your reason for thinking that? What was the hints? I don't think so. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't think so. No, I can't see that. Unless you give me reasons for the hints. Like, maybe if I see the hints. But at this point, I can't imagine Oda killing off any of the characters. I think Blackbeard will attack the Holy Land, forcing Imu to return. Yes, that has been a theory for a while because it's a very interesting one, and it's one I think might be happening also because there is something to do with the time in Elbaf. Time passes differently here, potentially. So, yeah, we don't know what's happening in the real world, and I think that, yeah, Imu will have to... That's what I said earlier. I said there will be a twist. I don't think this is going to be the fight. I don't think that... I don't know. Imu is not at his best. If Luffy's gonna fight and defeat Imu will be at his best. And that might mean he needs to be in Marijoa. I don't know why, but his body seems to do better there. Oh, right. Some people did say before he's heading to Fishman Island for Shirahoshi. On the map, where is Fishman Island again? Isn't it like near Marijoa? Bye, Walid. Enjoy. Girl, you need to charge your phone. Yeah, it's on 18%. That's fine. I have a theory that Usopp will become king of the pirates. Hi, Shoru. Also, Katarina Devon touched one of the elders, so she can look like them. Very good point. Very good point. Well, she touched the one that was killed. Damn it! So they're gonna... Maybe they don't know he's dead, and then maybe they'll try, but then they'll be caught out. It's good. You best believe in the chapter where he like waltzes in somewhere, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, him. Oh yeah, there he goes. I'm gonna forget that he died, and then I'm gonna be surprised. That would be really cool if they try and infiltrate, but they don't know that he's dead. Hmm. Okay. I doubt anyone outside of the elders knows about it, and the sailors that was in the room when he died. Exactly, exactly. So they're gonna try. Well, it was a good chapter. I like that the conversation between Sanji and Gaban was brought back. Yes. I like that it feels like the writing, the time that it took to, write Sanji's character, like I said, it was he got the normal introduction arc, but he got Whole Cake Island, which is a great arc, but it was long and it was big reveal. So I feel like finally it's about time that it comes to fruition. So I'm glad that it's getting focus. And I think especially because of my beef with never being like my theories being shut down back then, I would love if everything came to light right now. Like, if you're gonna delve into Sanji's characters, do it all. Don't do, him overcoming his block and the Conqueror's Haki and his dad and his, that. Don't just do that part. Please then address also his mother's lineage and the fire. I want everything, like, just blow it up. The problem with that right now is it would make in an arc where everyone was expecting things for Usopp, it would be another big moment for Sanji. I mean, we've already gotten Usopp stuff. And then Sanji stuff can be woven in there, and then we can end with a big moment for Usopp or something. But I just want. I know it sounds mean, but it's like out of all the Straw Hats, he's gotten a lot of time, right? And I just feel like it needs to pay off a bit. So, yeah. I did use the hashtag. I did. I show you. I do it the same way every single time. So look. I search One Piece like that, and then I look for. Oh, fuck, now it's not popping up. There was someone that uses the hashtag, and then I click the hashtag. But not even the hashtag is popping up right now. But it popped up earlier and I clicked it. Here. So One Piece. Like that. And then I click it. And then there's art. And then there's art. And here's one about the cover story now. Reiju protecting a little duck. Okay, now there's somehow more popping up. But I definitely did this earlier. Ooh, the proclamation of the Supreme Kings. What do we think Sanji's proclamation will be? Oh, that's why people were saying. So Luffy said, I will become king of the pirates. I will become king of hell. And Sanji, I will become the king of. Love. I will become the king of Kamabaka Island. Everyone's saying king of love. I was thinking heavens. Someone says heavens, but love seems more obvious. But if there's a king of hell, king of heaven, but that doesn't flow off the tongue very nicely. The king of love whose Haki only knocks out men. The king of the heavens. Isn't his mom linked to like the moon people or something? Don't share a video link. If I have to react to a video, then my mods would need to check the video first. But I'm not going to react to a video in a manga video. You can just share the theory, and the theory is Blackbeard, Garling, and Shamrock might form an alliance to defeat Emu. Why Garling? So I guess you share the video because you can't explain the theory by yourself. Why? Why? Garling and Shamrock? Yes, number one, Blackbeard hates the celestial dragons. They killed his mother. They literally hunted them down. I don't see how Blackbeard would join them. Unless it was, I don't know, a pretend joining them to stab them in the back. But it would be kind of disgusting if he actually joined them after what they've done to his people. How is it a great theory? How does it make sense for Blackbeard to join Garling? And why would Garling and Shamrock want to defeat Emu? Makes no sense. I feel like the amount of mental gymnastics you need to do to get to that point, no wonder you need a 25-minute video. I kid. No, the whole Lunarian thing can only happen because Queen thought that Sanji's leg being on fire was like a king. And maybe his mother has Lunarian blood and he can be the king of the heavens. You don't know. Garling and Shamrock are likely marked by Emu. They won't be able to do anything anyway against him. True that. I think that's what marked by Emu means, the covenant. I understand that sometimes you want something to be true. It's a great theory, but it doesn't make sense. You have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to get there, and I just don't see any substantial evidence linking to that. I'm gonna look up Sanji Lunarian. Because there's a debunking post. I like the idea of it though. The antagonist Queen explicitly confirmed during their fight that Sanji is not of Lunarian race. But you don't know. Pell was wrong. Why do people believe that a character stating something makes it a fact? They are people, and people are fallible. People can be wrong. I want my theory of Nami being real to be true. Do you mean royal? Oh, Nami being real. Oh, you mean in real life. That's hilarious. canon sources state otherwise. Yeah, Queen said so. Fucking Queen. So both Sanji and Lunarians, like King, can use fire. Like Lunarians, Sanji's awakened body gained an extreme level of durability and rapid healing. Sanji's left and right eyebrows switch their swirl directions, which some fans compare to the switching modes of Lunarians. Despite theories, there are strong arguments against it. He has no physical traits. He doesn't have dark skin or white hair or large black wings. Yet. He does got blonde hair. Sanji's fire is fueled by his emotions. Additionally, when he ignites his Ifrit Jambe, his fighting style changes dynamically compared to the defensive or speed boost Lunarians display. Other human characters in One Piece, such as Luffy and Zoro, also use fire techniques without possessing Lunarian DNA. Sanji's powers are attributed to the lineage factor manipulation done by his father, alongside the awakening of his modified Germa genes. Yeah, his mother is very light-skinned, but her hair is very light too. See, I want my theory about Sanji having Lunarian blood to be true, but we have to accept what we accept, you know? Damn it. Due to the power of Blackbeard's darkness and Garling's visible excitement about Emu's descent, I believe a major shift is coming. Interestingly, Garling resembles Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones, while Shamrock reminds me of Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. So, Oda takes notes from Game of Thrones. Garling is the Gorosei guy now, right? You think one of the Gorosei, who literally get their immortality power from Emu, is gonna work with Blackbeard to take down Emu? That's a bold theory. But yeah, it's I still think it's possible that the DNA he used to modify his children could have Lunarian. I want to Google something real quick. Explain Sanji history Germa from One Piece. This covers Sanji's full backstory with Germa as revealed in the anime during the Whole Cake Island arc. If you haven't reached the point, blah blah blah. Sanji's real name is Vinsmoke Sanji. He was born into the royal family of the Germa Kingdom, a technologically advanced military nation that travels across the sea on enormous ships. Germa is famous as Germa 66, an army feared throughout the world. The family consists of Vinsmoke Judge, Vinsmoke Sora, Reiju, Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji. So wait. What do we know about Sora? She's the late queen of the Germa Kingdom. Although she appears only in flashbacks, her choices and ideals profoundly shape the character development of Sanji and themes around the Vinsmoke family. Judge wanted to create the perfect soldiers. Before his children were born, he genetically modified them so that they would possess superhuman strength, have incredible durability, heal quickly, and be emotionless warriors. So they say that he genetically modified them, but they don't say how. Like, I mean, do they use DNA from various races or what? After Emu one-shot, the previous Gorosei from half the world away looks like a gamble I would like to take. Mm-mm. If he used Lunarian DNA, they wouldn't have the traits necessarily, but they could have particular traits like the fire or whatever. Personally, I always thought it had something to do with his mother. But that's just my bias of wanting moms to be important. But it's fine. She was important to Sanji. Sanji's mother, Sora, desperately opposed this. She secretly took a dangerous drug while pregnant, hoping at least one of her children would keep a normal human heart. The drug worked, but only for Sanji. Sanji was born physically normal. He laughed, cried, and cared about others. He did not initially awaken the superhuman abilities that his siblings had. Sadly, the drug severely harmed Sora's health, and she later died. Judge considered Sanji a failure. His brothers constantly bullied and beat him because he was not as strong as they were, which leads to the mental block. They see themselves as, well, we know. Judge was ashamed of Sanji and even denied he was his son. After Sanji showed kindness and compassion instead of becoming a ruthless soldier, Judge imprisoned him in an iron mosque and locked him away so no one would know the failure prince existed. Only Reiju showed Sanji any kindness. She visited him and cared for him whenever she could. And she eventually freed him. Ooh. This is kind of... I remember thinking this, but to read it again is... Judge allowed Sanji to leave, but only on one condition. Sanji must never tell anyone he's a Vinsmoke. And then later, he wanted to use Sanji, saying he's a Vinsmoke, when he told Sanji never to say it. That's so disgusting. Years later, Judge forced Sanji to return. So the part I wanted to read was just about the manipulation, the genetic manipulation. Since Emu is currently fighting Luffy, it's highly likely that Blackbeard will be Luffy's final antagonist. He seems poised to achieve his dream of becoming the king of the world, much like Rock's D. Chibik once intended. Luffy and the Blackbeard seem more like two sides of the same coin rather than... How could he replace Emu as the main antagonist? The final antagonist, if Emu's been around for hundreds of years. Yeah, I agree. I don't think the Emu versus Luffy conflict will end in this arc. Nope. Okay, but anyway, it is time for the question of the week. A lot of people theorize Blackbeard will get the final kill on Emu. That sounds more likely to me than him being the final antagonist. Oh, but if you're saying he'll get the final kill and then he'll be the final... It would be nice for him to kind of like get revenge. Because he's like personally affected. Luffy has no save the world mission, but he does help the people. He helps people as he adventures. That's because of... he feels responsibility to his friends. And he ends up doing good things, not because he intends to, just because it is what it is. It's kind of like, I think there's like a Buddhist quote. Let me just read it again. I sent it to Knox. So give me a second. The man of superior virtue is not conscious of his virtue, and in this way, he really possesses virtue. So reminds me of Luffy. It's like he doesn't try and do good things, but he just does. And then it ends up being virtuous, but he's not trying to be a hero. And then the man of inferior virtue never loses sight of his virtue, and in this way loses his virtue. I don't think the second part, it's more complicated. There's a lot to think about for me, but I think it just reminds me of the quote, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." A lot of the times, people trying to fight specifically for justice end up becoming what they hate if they get too obsessed with it. And someone like Blackbeard, I don't know where he stands. Like, he wants to be king of the world just like his dad, but that means he's modeling his life not on what he wants, but what, like, is he doing it for revenge? Is he doing it to fulfill his dad's dream? Like, that kind of goes against One Piece's message. Not against it, I just mean it's the antithesis of what Luffy stands for. And so it would be a good contrast. So maybe he'll be the final antagonist. Maybe. Oh, people think that Blackbeard will kill him and get his powers and be the ultimate monster, and it's going to be Luffy versus Blackbeard. I would be a little bit disappointed with that personally, but it depends how Oda writes it. It all depends. Okay, thank you for chatting with me. I'm excited for Sanji's character arc to kind of finally come to fruition. As you guys know by now, if you've seen my reactions, I really liked Whole Cake because it gave me one of my favorite ships. It's Sanji and Pudding. And I really hope that when his stuff does come, it still feels like there was so much set up. Even if he gets his Conqueror's Haki now, it can't be the end, because at some point he needs to... And where's Pudding? Where's Pudding? Who? She was in a ship somewhere. Isn't she with Blackbeard also? Someone save Pudding. Anyway, so yeah, I hope that his character kind of concludes finally after everything that's been set up. Not concludes and ends, obviously. I just mean he reaches his full potential. Hancock is better than Pudding. For Sanji? The fuck are you talking about? Sanji... Oda wrote that about Sanji before he met Pudding. Pudding will make... He'll always be a flirt, but he would be loyal. There's no freaking way that if he can't even harm a dream tepid, what is that? An insipid, I don't know, but he can't even kick a dream woman monster. If he can't kick her, there's no freaking way he would like be with Pudding and then cheat on her. There's no one can convince me. Not for Sanji as a character. So then why? So then what? I was saying I love Pudding and Sanji, and then you're like, Hancock is better than Pudding. Based on what? Like, Sanji fans like talking about the most random shit that I never said. I wasn't saying Pudding is the best girl in One Piece. Let's debate who is the best, and then you start saying Hancock. I was saying Pudding is the perfect girl for Sanji. I love Pudding and Sanji, and then you go, Hancock's better. Okay. Erza's the best. True that. As long as it's not hurt directly, it's fine. We saw that while Spandam was hurting Robin while he was taking... Yeah, well. Okay, for real, I'm ending it here. I'm not looking forward to the comments, honestly. Although, I don't think that many people will see this video, so it's fine. But I'm gonna put a freaking warning somewhere. Sanji fans, breathe. Listen to what I say. Reply to what I say, not to what you think I say. Okay, bye. I look forward to the next chapter. We have one next week. Yes, we have one next week. See you then.